Ashley
Hello.
Manning is gonna be back from. She's taking a self-defense course. You know that like Mr. Miyagi wax on, wax off stuff. She was learning
Mhm.
that.
Oh, wow. That's super effective when it comes to stubborn stains.
Indeed,
And
I was, and also into defeating bullies who later go on to somehow become an anti-hero in a show that I've heard a lot about, but actually haven't watched any of.
very watchable. The first two seasons especially really capture that like 80s sense of like fun and ridiculousness and like the lowest stakes, but also good.
Ashley, we started without you because it's late here. How are you? How
That's
was
fair. No,
visiting
I didn't
Easter
expect you to wait
Island
for
and
me. Sorry I
or
couldn't be
doing
here
martial
any earlier.
arts?
We're talking over each other. It's wonderful.
That's
Ah,
right. How was your canoe lesson?
my canoe lesson was fabulous. I learned how much you can get taxed before you get chucked out of the canoe. I don't know. I was in a finance seminar.
How much? What did you learn about?
Um, it's sort of to help us with freelance financing. With the work I'm doing. So it was really frustrating because we had a mental health one as well. And I totally would have sacked that off to come and do the first session of this. But the finance one was the one that clashed with this. And that's the one where I'm like, yeah, I need that help.
Yeah, that's handy stuff. That's stuff that I'm
Yeah,
trying to
for
learn more
sure.
about at all
And
times
we got like a
because
whole interactive spreadsheet where you just like put in all your things and it just magically does everything for you. And it was worth missing the first session of this for that alone.
you hear that, Troggies? That's how little she thinks of you. She'd rather
No,
look at a
that's just how much I
spreadsheet
think of a
than talk to
spreadsheet.
you. A
Yeah.
spreadsheet
You know
over
what? This
Troggies.
finance
My
guy,
God.
this finance guy was so accessible. He referred to it as a spreadsheety thing, and I was just like, you know what? You're on my level. I love it.
It's
How
like
likely
when
do
you
you
call a
think?
kid's injury an ouchie. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, this is what I'm talking
this is
about.
how I communicate as an adult.
Let's talk about your teacher. Was he anything like Mr. Bergstrom from The Simpsons? Was that the name of Dustin Hoffman's character? Chris, verify.
Oh, the inspirational one that Lisa fell in love with.
Correct.
I don't remember this.
His name is lost. His name is lost to me. Alex Watson is yelling it at the screen right now.
Yeah.
I think it's Mr.
But he
Bergstrom.
was very, very
Anyway,
lovable. He was very lovable. I had a crush on him.
Ashley, how like do you think anyone in the class had a crush on your seminar leader? A
I mean,
crushy
I
wushy,
sort
if
of
you will.
did, but then fuck it, I have a crush on
Oh.
everyone, so as we fucking know. God, I
Oh, I
put
wasn't
my
even.
foot in it in last week's episodes, didn't I?
That was great.
I wasn't.
That was great.
I wasn't gonna bring it
So,
up.
well, you know what? I fucked it already, so who cares? Troggies, for any of you who were listening to last week's show.
What are you doing?
and
What are you doing?
heard
What are you
all of
doing?
it.
What are
No,
you?
I'm not gonna name anyone.
Oh my
I'm
god!
just
I
gonna
thought you were
say
about to
that
name.
as
Oh my
I got
god!
several guesses from other places, and somebody clocked it and apparently outed me in a group chat of comedians, to the point where I then went to a comedy gig the other night, and one of the people who is associated with that group of comedians came up to me and said, "So I hear you've taken a shine to so and so," and
Here are the following things I will say to make you feel better. One, you're doing the math wrong because the same person that brought it up in the group chat is the person you saw.
Nope. No, it's not.
Then the person that brought it up in the group chat was told by that person. Let me say this: the person
No.
that you saw at the gig is a mega shit stirrer.
Yeah,
and
he's
I
the best.
smell-
I do know
Yeah.
that.
He
I
certainly
do
is.
know that.
I
But
oh.
that person claimed
Said
that
with
he was
love.
able to see it because he happened to be there on the night. So,
Oh.
you know, here we are.
That's
So
what I
good.
say.
So wonderful.
So good.
It's so fucking stupid.
So great.
good.
And also kind of
So
like
good.
nice to be like, hey, comics listen sometimes. That's nice.
You know what? It's the first positive acknowledgement of my existence I've had from the Scottish comedy industry since I
Wait, Scotland's got
basically
a
got
comedy
hung out
industry?
for a witch burning.
Oh yeah, that was 3 years ago at this point.
I know, but I thought because of all of that, nobody paid any. I was full certain I was muted on everybody's Twitter.
Madam, are you aware of how many cancelings the United Kingdom comedy scene has had since that incident?
Sure.
I mean,
I think there were 2 pedos that were outed since then.
Yeah, but
Oh my
I'm
God.
worse than a pedo because I'm like
Ashley,
talking out against pedos is worse than being a pedo. You're forgetting that that's how the rules of the entertainment industry works.
Yeah,
in
no, that's
America.
hard to argue. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Louis C.K.'s back in work. The people who came out against him are not.
To be fair, they famously weren't working.
Yeah.
Were they not? I didn't. I didn't know who they were.
Yeah. And also, I was like, I don't know how to blow back on this, but like, I know who a few of the anonymous people are, and they are all very much working. They are very all high level people.
I had a very interesting conversation this week with somebody who is related to one of the victims of Kevin Spacey.
As in like work related or like family related?
Family related. And so that was very interesting. I can't say I don't think I'm really able to say anything more than that, but apparently there's going to be a documentary.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That sounds right.
Which is exciting. But yeah, I had that day in work was really odd. I had 2 conversations that just like exploded my brain a little bit, because there was that one. I was just like, whoa, okay. And then there was another one where I was working with this girl, and I've been working with her a little bit. She's very different to me. We have totally different life priorities. I find her really glamorous, and she's really lovely, and sort of makes an effort with her appearance all the time and all this sort of thing, but in a way that I just wouldn't be arsed doing, but the flip side of that is that I always feel dead scruffy around her. There's 2 women that work out in this place that are just really, really like glamorous. And I always feel really scruffy, but then I'm also just like, fuck it. I kind of like that part of me is being scruffy.
There's that kind of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But also,
like,
I would never think of you as a scruffy person.
Yeah.
Like,
where are you hanging out?
You don't like the woman that you and I lived with, who works in cameras. I think of her as kind of like a scruffy person. She just kind of like just hangs out, shows up, and like really doesn't put the work in, and like it suits her. She's great. But like I would never consider you to be scruffy. That's these people must be like Catherine Ryan on a fucking red carpet.
I'll give away one detail about them, is that they are cabin crew in their usual work. So
Are you working on Below Deck?
No.
Yeah, are you doing Below Deck? Are you below decking the show?
No, they're cabin crew on planes.
I mean, I know some of them too, and they're not.
Yeah.
Anyway, these girls are really glamorous.
Wow, good for them.
Anyway, the conversation I had with her.
Oh.
I had to fully catch myself out on this one, was because I judged so quickly. But we do a lot of lifting in this job. And she came in this day and she said, I'm not really able to do the lifting in the boxes today because I've had a procedure done on my arms. I was just like, that's fine. Absolutely do not try and lift anything. I'll do all the lifting today. That's grand. And as the day went on, I found out that procedure was that she had gotten Botox into her arms to stop her from sweating.
Oh, that's so dangerous. That's real bad for you.
Well, here's the thing. I thought that, and I thought, what a superficial thing to spend your money on, and like sweating is normal. Why would you feel that? Yeah. I just really, really went to that place. But as the day went on, she was telling me more and more and more, because I was just like, can you please tell me more about that? That's fascinating. And she said that it's not like Botox that you kind of get done to your face.
Yeah, it doesn't give you fat lips.
No, it doesn't do that sort of thing. It basically sends a message to your sweat glands that stops them from thinking that they need to sweat when they don't. And she ended up telling me that she has actually hyperactive sweat glands, and she sweats loads, and it causes her a lot of like skin, physical discomfort. And she's always felt that she could never wear anything other than black because she would end up with big sweat marks. And the more she was telling me, the more I was just like, whoa, okay, this isn't the superficial, silly thing that I thought it was. And then she said one thing that I was just like, that's me absolutely caught out. And you know what? I was so wrong at the beginning of this conversation, because what she said to me was, because she told me about a few other little procedure things that she'd done. She had her nose done, and she'd had she gets tanning done quite regularly, and she gets her eyebrows laminated. And
Haven't even heard of that.
What is that last one? Can you please tell me
getting
that
your
last one?
eyebrows laminated is where you get them like, I'm not fully sure what it is, but you get them like you get them sort of pressed up so that they grow the right way or something. Instead of
okay,
growing downwards, they grow upwards. I
Oh,
don't.
so is
really
it
know.
like putting a trestle on ivy so it grows up instead of across your lawn?
I guess
Yeah.
I don't really know. I have no
Okay.
idea. But
I'm
she said
looking it
she
up.
got like a few other things done, and then she said this. She just said, "I like to spend my money on things that give me confidence." And I went,
Nice.
you know what? You just fucking beat me. That's such a valid reason to do anything.
John, no one's talking. You can just talk.
Eyebrow lamination is essentially a perm for your eyebrows.
Yes, that's what it is. Thank you. I knew there was a better way to describe it. I just couldn't think of it.
Yeah.
I will say I might get this done. Because I
Listen,
am losing
I
hair on
live-
this eyebrow. I'm
yeah.
currently doing a regrowth serum treatment. I'm trying to grow it back.
Yeah,
when I
come
do
on,
grow it back,
eyebrow.
I might go and
Who are
get
you, a male
them
comedian?
laminated because it's meant to be quite good for them.
Fair enough. It's rare that you hear this procedure is actually quite good for what I'm getting it. It's
I
normally
Maybe it's
don't know
not. Maybe
anyone-
that's bullshit. I really don't know.
Actually, I know a lot of people that have had plastic surgery. None of them regret it. None of them.
Yeah,
They,
this is
they
the
all
thing.
have
Is
had.
like
I live in
they all love
LA.
it.
So many comedians Chris knows. So many male comedians Chris knows.
Oh,
So many
that's
named
fun.
John Hastings have had Botox. No, but no, there are like a shitload of people, and it's so prevalent everywhere.
Mm.
Like I thought it
Wow.
was only like London. So many people are doing it. Wild stuff. Go nuts.
Yeah.
Get a boob job. Get a boob
I mean,
job.
I yes and no, because it's like it's some of it is like for a time and then like you can kind of like decide where you're at. But some of the forever stuff, it's like getting a big back tattoo. And it's like, is this how you want to look forever? Like there was a I mean, this is an extreme example, but I was sitting with my roommate last night, and we were playing Name That Tune. We were all just drinking, and one of us would just put on songs, and the other two, like I'm a big music nerd, and my roommate's friend is a big music nerd, so we were just going head to head, seeing who could name bands first. And we did it for fucking 3 hours. It was so fun. And
Smash Mouth might as well be Walking on the Sun.
hey,
Smash Mouth All Star, correct?
But ICP came on, and they told me about this guy. It's the Insane. Ashley, do you know the Insane Clown Posse?
No.
Oh, good. Just one of the few times where I'm like, you know what? You nailed it for not knowing who this is. They're terrible. I'm convinced that they are a high-level performance art group, deeply postmodernist performance art. But no one agrees with me. But they wear
Chris,
like heavy clown makeup, and they have fans. We've talked about the Juggalos on here before, who are their fans. But one of the Juggalos got clown tattoos on his face. So he full like mouth, rectangles, and then eyebrows up here, tattooed.
Do that.
And he said since he's like, yeah, that was a mistake. That I overcommitted to this one. I got caught up in the moment, and I fucked my face up forever.
That would ruin your life.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's nothing you have to only date juggalos now. You have just fully restricted yourself to the juggalo lifestyle.
Here's what you have to do. Are you ready? You got to be in shape, and you got to work on that personality, and you got to wear a lot of hats and a lot of sunglasses, and then at a certain point you got to go, listen, we've all had a past.
He must be getting some sort of laser removal done as well.
It's his whole face. Like, look, I'm on my phone, so I can't bring stuff up, but can someone just look up ICP face tattoo? You'll know exactly the one that it is. It's like a young guy, it's all black, and he's got two rectangles over his eyes. And there is no hat or sunglasses combination
for this.
Yeah. No, I know the one guy he's talking about. They have a before
I have found it. Do you know what? It looks very faded. It looks like he's
Not
not
Not faded
worked on.
enough.
but still definitely there. I know he's tried to have like tattoo removal stuff on it, but there's no combination of there's no accent piece that can distract from this face tattoo.
I'm
And
just
so
trying
like
to-
with stuff that's forever like that, if it's especially if it's like cosmetic, I'm where, and I'm totally open to being wrong and being proven wrong on this, but that's
So-
my instinct.
Is it this guy?
Yeah, it's that guy.
I mean, this guy. This is him on the right. I presume a lot more recently, and it
Now his face
like
just
it's-
looks smudged.
Yeah,
Can you make it bigger? Can you like
I can't
actually
I'm
like open the
trying
thing?
to figure
Does
out
Just,
anyone
how to
else
do
feel
that.
like in his
right-click view
younger
file.
photo, it looks like he's in a karate gi?
Wait, God.
Yeah.
that one.
Jesus
this
Christ,
is
man.
amazing. Because also one of the Insane Clown Posse members, as pictured there, sees this photo and is like, "This guy's a fucking idiot. He should not have done this. This is so embarrassing for him." And it's very funny.
It's got to
hard
be weird
get a
when you
picture
have
of
like fans and you love your fans, but then you see a few and you go, that guy. Oh no.
Yeah, it's a bit. I can't get this to come up bigger. Sorry.
That's all right. But yeah, if you're watching the
Very
video, then you thought
uncooperative image.
if you're listening, then just imagine a terrible clown face tattoo, and you're right there. Good job, you nailed it.
It's really bad.
Chris, Ashley, what this made me be reminded of. Oh God, here comes the yawn. Here's what I am reminded of: a very weird "don't drink" ad from Canadian television when I was a youth. Do you remember this ad, Chris, with the guy with the nipple tattoo? And he woke up in like a motel room, and there's like a hot lady showering. And he's like, "Oh, I got a nipple piercing. That's not a big deal." And then he looks over, and it's like a girl's number. And he's like, "That's wicked." And then it turns out he's a giant back piece tattoo. Let me say
Mhm.
this: that only sold me getting drunk right there. As I was like, that makes getting drunk look.
That guy
fucking
looks like he had a good night.
This guy
that guy got
rules.
that guy got the bang a lady. That guy got a free tattoo and a free nipple piercing. Like what?
We don't know
What
that it
else?
was free. We didn't
don't
see
know
his
that it's
credit
free. We
card.
didn't- Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
get to see him open his banking app and go,
Yeah.
fuck.
I mean, he didn't even look that hungover. I'm gonna say it right now. I
He
think
didn't.
that,
He looked fine. He just looked a little groggy.
yeah.
Oh dear.
Yeah,
I
know-
haven't
Go
I
ahead.
haven't really been drinking for about 2 weeks. I had like 2 beers last night, but I'm not really
Let's
drinking
drink it.
because I can't. Yeah, but before like I've had 3 beers total in the last 2 weeks. And
What's good going?
and even then it's just like I'm not like quitting. I just like because I have to wake up in the morning and I have to work day
Sure.
shifts and then try to do shows at night. I just need energy that drinking saps me of in my sleep. And I am annoyed at how much better I feel.
Yeah, it's the best.
I'm mad. I don't like it. I didn't want it to work. But goddamn.
I had the
God
opposite
damn.
experience this week because I went on Wednesday. I was working a children's show in the afternoon, which I have to
Here we go.
say, those little children doing stand up can give Red Raw a run for their money. Some of them were too good.
Really?
Like-
Absolutely could.
They were so good.
You understand that the generation after Generation Z is going to be so done with the culture war? Do you understand that we are 7 years away from just people being like, "Oh, well, what about and then it'll be like, "We're not doing that anymore, Grandpa." Oh, I cannot wait. I cannot fucking wait. Generation after, we need to really consider. Actually, we don't. Okay. Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, they were great. They were so good. And then that finished at 3, and I had nothing to do for the rest of the day. So I went home and then
shittered?
planned to meet a friend at a bar. Made him half an hour late for work, and just went down to my work again and just drank for the rest of the evening.
Nice.
But
Any
then woke
hot
up on
comedy
Friday
gossip?
morning or Thursday morning, Friday morning. I forget what day it was. Whichever
long
day
did
it
you
was
drink
the
for?
next day. Woke up and went to work. I woke up before my alarm, like 7:30 in the morning, went to
Yeah.
work, had a whole day of work, and then had a whole evening of work as well. And I felt really, really great all day. And I was just like, fuck it, I can do anything. It's like,
Nice.
that lulls you into a false sense of security, though.
Yeah, I always feel like my body gives me one of those
Yeah,
where it's like, hey man, you've earned
you
this.
can do this. Yeah, you're
You go
fine.
get it. But I know that if I do it for a second day in a row, I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
like wrecked. Like no, like I went from having. It's not like I was drinking seriously. I'd be like, go to a comedy club and have a beer,
Yeah.
and I just. It's not like I'd wake up hungover or anything, but I just didn't have like, and like my alarm would go off and I'd be like, ugh. And now since I'm not drinking, like I'm waking up 5 minutes before my alarm at 7:30 in the morning every day, exercising immediately. Then like I do a crossword and take a shower and read, and I just feel like alert.
I
Crossword.
would just. Oh yeah, he's a loser. I would like.
I love
just to get-
crosswords. They're so
Go
good.
fuck yourself. Eat my butt.
They're so good.
See you in hell. Yeah, there we go.
I mean, I
I,
like a crossword, but I don't try and do one in the morning before I go.
Oh,
out.
okay. Well, yeah. See too. No talk of boring ass crosswords. Hi, everybody. Let's get to it, huh? Finally, back to what this stream originally was. Hey, humdums, let's get wild. Crosswords are for douchebags. You are all filled with douche. Hey,
We actually got a we got a strike on our YouTube channel for that.
Oh, come on. Is that true?
Yeah, our video got taken down because we played that song 2 episodes ago.
That's so
I'm going to say
funny.
this right now. I will lose that YouTube channel to continue playing the Thomas song.
No, it's
The
it's
whole
gonna
video
be.
got taken down.
I think
YouTube,
so.
you
Yeah.
will be missed.
They didn't
I
just,
didn't. I
like,
didn't read.
silence the part.
I didn't read too deep into the copyright strike, but we definitely got like they were mad because we had other ones as well
Does
where
that
it was
mean we
like
have to
not
cut it out
affected,
now.
didn't matter. But that one, for some reason, Thomas the Tank Engine, they are fucking serious about not playing their song.
Okay,
So,
so we should not use it anymore so that we don't have to edit it out.
Disagree. Hard disagree. Hard disagree. I say,
Yeah, that's
damn
because
the
John
man,
doesn't
damn
do
the-
any of the editing. John doesn't
Yeah,
do any of that
it's all
stuff.
well and good.
So he's
but-
like, yeah, who gives a shit?
No. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is leave it in. Just leave
but it
it
takes
in.
the whole episode down.
Well, that's the price we're going to have to pay for integrity.
I think your understanding of integrity and YouTube's understanding of integrity are totally different things.
YouTube has no interest in integrity.
There we go. Thank you very much, Chris. I think I smell a job for Mr. David Hoare. We need him to remake the Thomas the Tank theme because I am not
we
doing this without
have to
that.
do that.
This is great because
I've
we'll find out if
noticed that
David
so
still
much this
listens.
year.
Oh
For
no, I'm
people's,
I'm sending him an email.
There's so many people for their tour shows or their fringe shows and stuff who have gotten people to make a song that sounds really similar to a piece of music so that they don't get the DVLA strike when they put it on the
Oh,
special.
nice,
Is that
nice.
true? Because
Yeah, John Kearns
did.
did it. And,
Hilarious.
Amy
60
Matthews
asked John
did it.
Kearns.
Yeah. Yeah, there's loads of them.
So, because there's a secret joke in my show, which is the pre-show music is just different covers of the times they are a changing, and then my walk-on music is David Hoare playing the song, but we changed the words to, and the times they are John Hastings, and then I walk on, and then it closes on Bob Dylan's song. No one has gotten it yet, and it makes me
That's
happy
excellent.
every
Very
time.
silly.
I've heard one guy go, "What the?" and that's it. And it's very funny. But it makes me happy so much. Also,
That's excellent.
disparate amount of versions of the times there are changing, by the way. A punk version and
Yep.
a gospel version. Tears, Ashley. You will piss tears out of your fucking eye
I
pussies.
can't wait. I can't.
You're playing a song that makes people want to piss tears out of their eye pussies before your comedy show.
No. Just Ashley.
After.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, right before.
Before. Okay,
Uh,
cool.
It's the first, not out of sadness, out of
Big
beauty
swing.
for the beauty of their goddamn voices. Just God damn it, these people can sing, and the times they are changing. Best version of the times they are changing. Simon and Garfunkel's. Both of you would love it. It's depressing as fuck.
I do love Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh my god, I love.
I've been listening to
fucking hate
weirdly
Paul
upbeat
Simon.
music this past month or so.
Look at you,
I think-
Ashley.
Look
I
at-
think
come
my
on.
Spotify Unwrapped is going to be totally different this year.
Oh, good.
Or
wanna-
I'm going to have a hard fall release
Yeah,
here.
yeah. I was gonna say if you want to go back to the sads, you can. Simon and Garfunkel fucking rule. And let me tell you who stinks. Paul Simon. Paul Simon. You know what? Let me introduce you to something. It's called the bin, and you can jog onto it and do one in the bin. You fucking toilet. You're a toilet.
Why? Because he refused to carry that dead weight of Art Garfunkel around?
Okay, well, I'll see you in Africa where you
Oh.
and Paul Simon can appropriate some music. Goodbye, Chris. Oh, Chris Betts isn't on the program right now because he likes the Grace Light album.
So what did you guys argue about before I got here? What was in the
Our
first
penis
section?
sizes. We were trying to
Oh.
guess the length of our penises, and we both said 11 inches around and giggled for 45 minutes, and then you showed up.
It's the earlier in the week episode, the Sunday episode is very like we hit so many different topics that about 30 minutes in, I briefly considered whether we both have ADHD.
No.
We bounced so fast
It
and
was
so hard
so hard.
to
It was
different
great.
things. I was like, this isn't good. This is
No,
bad.
I disagree. I disagree. I actually was keeping track, and there unfortunately was a weird. You could find a line. It basically went like this. What the fuck are they?
I'd love
Whoa,
to see
whoa,
like a
whoa,
visual
whoa.
representation of our conversations.
This one in particular was like, okay, here we go. Oh my, here. The
Yeah, it was like the Windows 94 tube screensaver.
oh my god,
but-
yes.
Oh my god,
We-
you remember the maze thing that you could go through? Wasn't that the shit?
That you could go through. I remember like
You could
making a
go
The
through?
maze,
maze
but
screensaver thing.
No,
Am I,
it's-
am I imagining
did we
this?
have
The
different
Windows
screensavers.
well, yeah,
No,
Ashley's
was
the
this
young
an
one in the
Irish
group.
thing?
Yeah,
Hank
but
Ashley's the cool young one.
We had different screensavers. Our screensavers were either the logo of the company that provided the software,
Bouncing
Or-
around, and you waited for it to
or-
hit the corner.
Oh no, yeah, I had
course.
that one.
Yeah.
stars, like if you were on a
Mm-hmm.
spaceship, of course. The classic.
And like trance
not?
music background videos.
Okay, so
Stuff-
I'm
yeah.
not
Stuff that like
making
is
this
just
up.
shapes and colors like evolving into each other.
I'm gonna find
Mhm.
this. I know I'm not making this up. Okay, Windows.
There was also that one which was
Maze
two koalas
screensaver.
69ing.
Yeah, and then one of them squirts and you
Oh my
go,
God, I found
it. Yeah, it was very-
whoa.
Whoa. Does it also
It's a
have
Windows
Thomas the Tank Engine's music
95
underneath it?
3D maze screensaver. This is so cool. Oh my god, it's so much nostalgia so quickly.
Or is it?
Are you going to show it to us or are you just going
Yes,
to watch
yeah,
this
sorry,
maze?
I'm bringing it up. I'm bringing it
No,
up.
no. I liked it better. I liked watching having a reaction video in one corner of the show.
Right. Look at this. Now, bearing in mind, this is just a video
Oh
of it. But
my
when you had it
God.
on your computer, you could control it when it was in
This is what
screensaver
the
mode.
Oh, wow.
This is what the 2000s
Oh.
look like.
So we had this and we couldn't control it, but we thought we could.
Oh,
That was
maybe
hard.
that was maybe it was the same.
So for anyone just
Oh, that's
listening,
even
it's
better.
the one that's all the brick walls and the yellow ground, and it looks like a Doom level.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we would act like we were controlling it, but we were not controlling it. It's
Ashley just
You
thinks
know
she
what?
can
There's
control this.
such a good chance that I was so
Almost
duped
100%.
by this.
How much do you
It's,
want to bet you
it's
were
like when you
duped
give
by
the
this?
younger brother an unplugged controller when you're playing
Yeah.
PlayStation.
Oh no, yeah, I was definitely duped by this, wasn't I? Until now, until right now, this second.
Telling the hard
For
truth on this
23
podcast.
years.
Does anyone else really want to play Wolfenstein right now?
Oh, buddy. But did you see how people were modding Doom onto every possible like
No.
device? So it was like people were playing it on like their watches, and then they were playing it on calculators. and then they would just people just modded Doom so it showed up on everything. And my favorite version, it was like a hot moment on the internet where everyone was just fucking with Doom, and they made an all David Hasselhoff version. So every bad guy was David Hasselhoff. All the walls were pictures of David Hasselhoff. They just modded the whole game, so it's just David Hasselhoff. The internet's so
Did
silly.
the bad guys do the Baywatch run?
That's funny.
Great question.
I heard this the other. Apparently, there's a phone number that you can call, and it's called Call and Oates. And when you call, it's just like a voicemail messaging.
Give me this phone number right now.
And they go,
I'll find it.
They go, welcome to Call and Oates. Press 1 for this song. Press 2, and you call it. Then you just vibe out to a Hall and Oates song, depending on.
Oh my god, yeah, it is. Yeah, if you pick up your phone and call 71926 Oates.
Oh, I'm not in the States. If I'm
That's
next
so
time I'm in the
silly.
States, we're calling Colin Oates. Oh my god, this is fantastic.
719-266-2837, I think. Yeah.
That's so silly.
That's so funny.
There are a variety of hotlines you can call, and I am on the website listing them. Let's go through them now. Okay. Colin Oates is so fun. Oh no, this one is actually serious. Oh my god, the existential crisis hotline. Chris, call them.
What do they do? Does it explain, or is it just the name? I need more.
It does explain. There's Dial a Poem.
What qualifies as an existential crisis?
Set up by a Canada-based artist named Meg Rabbit, the Existential Crisis Hotline is lovely and thoroughly designed to make you feel better about your own existence. Whether it's giving you a 3-step program to change your outlook, telling you to think about the extinction events while you take a shower, or reminding you about how statistically lucky you are to even be alive, this hotline feels tailor-made for the world's current predicament, even though it's been around since 2018. What do you think about that, guys?
That's great, because it's all it does is they just like zoom out. They're just like, in the grand scheme, crazy. Everything's fine.
Yeah. What about Dial a Poem?
Oh, that makes sense. Call it up and they just give you a random poem.
Correct.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
There's Call and Notes. Then we have Amy Langer's Random Thoughts, founded by a San Francisco neo-futurist. That sounds like she's secretly a fascist. Neo-futurist theater group. After stepping down from her co-artistic director position, she made this brilliant hotline. When I called, I listened to a thought-provoking passage complete with soothing music about robots. It included C-3PO analysis, book recommendations, and some philosophical thoughts about how AI ultimately mirrors human behavior. Oh my god, that sounds boring and terrifying.
Analysis.
Oh, I read a thought about AI recently that like made me sad, but also made me laugh.
Anxiety and dread.
It was I don't think it's the opposite. It was like, maybe AI isn't brilliant, maybe we're just boring. And that's why it's so easy for this program to mimic us, is because there is nothing special about the way we think or act. It is just
this kind of what I was saying.
Very mappable.
I think I said something about this on the show last week about the Turing test and how, like, did I say this on the show last week?
As always, I have no memory.
We've forgotten it completely. But yeah, the Turing
again.
test is like a measure of whether or not a computer can fool a person into thinking that they are a person for a certain length of time. And, this was sort of defined by Alan Turing in the 30s or something, whenever Alan Turing was, whatever. And then as they went on, there were people trying to invent computers that would pass the Turing test. And then more and more computers started to pass the Turing test. And they realized that there was a fault in this concept, which was that most people couldn't pass the Turing test.
Yeah. We suck, and the sooner we acknowledge it. Apparently, here's an existential. There's a podcast that I want to listen to about this actually after we get off from the Wall Street Journal, John. And it's the CEO of
That eye
ChatGPT.
roll
Yeah.
was so pronounced. Like your
Rupert
eyes
Murdoch
went
and
back
his
to your
oligarch
asshole.
buddies can eat my fucking dick. The Wall Street Journal. Yeah,
It's-
tell me no. Yeah,
it's
no. Shut the
from-
fuck up. No,
but the
AI
CEO of ChatGPT is now terrified of his
Oh,
own technology.
No, you wanna
he's
know,
like,
he's a
I
fucking
think we have
loser.
to shut this down.
Um,
Did I tell you why I read the Wall
ChatGPT,
Street
no.
Journal, Don? Because it's a good thought, and everyone should consider it.
Go ahead.
I'll do it for you, John.
Thank you. I'm all for getting all sources of news. I really am. I think you should have a really mixed diet for all that sort of stuff. The Wall Street Journal, in particular, is so snide and shithead right wing. Like it's so like, according to scientists, you're a dickwad. Like it's
Yeah,
just
there's
like,
a lot of
your
articles that are like, you know who the real victims are? Landlords. And
Well,
but here's why I read it.
The landlords.
Billionaire. Yeah.
Here's
Do
why I
you-
read it is because you know who makes all the decisions? Rich people. And the Wall Street Journal is the
disagree.
news rich people read.
I think
And
there
so
is
it
a
makes
valid
sense to
point.
to
There is a
stay up
valid
on what
point to
they're
be made
taking
about
in.
like staying up on what the people who disagree with you are thinking.
But also the
I-
ones who actively choose things to just know what kind of information is going into their brains, I think is
Sure.
an important context to the decisions that are made when you can see how it's going. Because if you don't understand that, then you can't change anything about it. Like you need to know where they're coming from and how their ideas formed to have any hope of altering
being able
them.
being able to find a way into their brain space to lead
Yeah,
them
'cause-
towards yours.
Because the what is never as important as the why. You have to understand the why if you want to change the what. And so this is a good way of doing that. So that's why I subscribed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. John's not on
No.
board.
No. You're just trying to be contrarian and weird. You can get you the same information.
No, he's
other
just trying to
places.
win more arguments.
Oh, it's just so fucking irritating. Also, the rich do not actually make that many decisions. I think Elon Musk's buying Twitter has proved that. They absolutely don't know what's going on. Do you understand? Like, they're really trying to affect a bunch of changes in society, and they're going about it the worst way possible. Like,
Of course
it's just
they
not
do.
happening.
What are you talking? You think they just go to lunch with politicians and don't make decisions?
I mean, they're trying. They are absolutely. But all of these rich people want fucking Donald Trump, GONE, gone, and he is not. They
I'm not
also all
saying-
want
I'm not
Boris
saying
Johnson
they're-
to
I'm not saying they can do anything they want at all times, but I think it would be silly to say that they are not instrumental in a lot of policy decisions.
I think they're instrumental in a lot of policy decisions, but I think reading the Wall Street Journal isn't going to give you an insight into what they're doing. I think it gives you an insight into what Rupert Murdoch wants you to read, and it's just like fuck
I
off.
am
Rupes.
going to have to just slightly interrupt. You guys can get back to your Wall Street Journal argument,
I don't want
but
to. I
I
wanna
will
read The
actually have to
Guardian.
leave.
Where are you going,
I know I only got here for this bit of this episode, but I have to go to work.
Ashley?
Are
Are you going to Penzance?
Are you a pirate?
Goodbye.
No, don't break our hearts.
Goodbye.
go back.
I'll see-
It was a musical
Bye,
reference.
Troggies.
It was a musical
No, Ashley,
reference.
it's a music reference. No, Ashley, come back. No.
Goodbye.
No. Have fun.
That was us reaching out.
I wonder what Ashley does for a living. We should ask.
I think she didn't get the job at the distillery. She's working on a show. She's doing audio stuff.
No, I actually do know what it is. I was just making a joke about it. She just didn't say. I know exactly where she's going.
I'm right? She's doing audio stuff on a show. I'm not wrong on that.
You are slightly wrong. I just don't know. I just now don't want to say on the air because she didn't say. But I'll put it in the
fair
private
enough.
chat afterwards, and I feel smug.
He just sent us a message.
I had to say that at the top. Sorry, I love you both. Oh, that's nice.
Oh,
Ashley.
that's very
Here's what I
nice.
just had to say about I just find the Wall Street Journal to be just so insane at this point. Like you literally, you're like, the sky isn't purple. Like it's like, what the fuck are you talking about, guys?
I haven't found it to be that far off, but I definitely disagree with almost all of their editorial positions.
Oh my god! Like the point,
but things like I remember reading on the cover like 4 years ago that like a Chinese company had bought one of the chains of pubs. Like it's not Weatherspoons, but it's akin to it. It was like Yates's or something like that. And I was like, oh, the UK economy is about to collapse. That's That's a billionaire who looked at it and went, what do they spend their money on? Where's it going? We want that money. And that's an industry that you invest in when a recession is on its way.
That's a good
And
point.
and so it's good for stuff like that because it's canary in the coal mine business decisions. So
I will also say
like
that you were probably reading that headline at the time in a post-Brexit world. So as much
just
as
post,
like
just post.
yeah, I don't want to be rude. You also
Yeah.
may have picked that up by osmosis because there was like 8 other newspapers that weren't hiding it behind a shadowy pub business deal. Like the Guardian would just continually write, "We are fucked in a variety of different ways when it came to the economy post Brexit." Sorry to shit on your Wall Street Journal parade. Yeah, just don't read that newspaper. You should do what I do. Just get the Apple. Oh no, you don't have an iPhone, so you don't have the Apple News app with a nice aggregator and fuck up the algorithm. Also, here's what I'm gonna say about AI. None of those things can run without human assistance. And also, basically, all they've done is rewritten and made a better, faster Google at this point. It's not at the place that they're all talking about where it's at. And
No.
also, like,
but also we don't know where it's at because we only know the consumer facing part of it.
that's true.
So
But
they know more where it's at than where. And there was like a big petition that was put out by like all the pioneers in tech or whatever. That's what they were calling themselves. I didn't actually look at the list, but they were like, hey, can we just for 6 months just take a second to stop this just so we can gather like where we actually are, which makes me think that it's gone way past like the Bing search answers in their labs. And we just don't know about how far it's gotten. Like all we see is the part they can sell and they can sort of make pretty for us. But there's other stuff going on in their labs that's far beyond that, that's not finished and it's not quite means tested, but is showing them something that they are worried about, which I think is worth taking on to a degree.
I think they should stop all of it. I think it's all nonsense crapola, and they should just stop doing it. It doesn't make any sense. It's not going to lead to any human improvement. It's just going to be crypto again. I don't know how it's going to be crypto, but it's just going to end up being a scam. That's what it's going to be.
But it's that classic thing of like something can be very bad and also be very good, like in the way that it's mapping genomes and finding cures for different diseases that we never would have thought of, or mapping the universe in ways we didn't know, or solving physics problems that we couldn't have done because of its insane computational power. But it also could, conservatives are actively making a conservative bot right now that's just going to be fascist. And it's like a fascist AI sounds like a poor choice, guys.
One of the interesting things about the American electorate population that a couple of people are actually concerned about within the Republican Party, and there are news articles about this, not in the Wall Street Journal, and they should, because this is actually where it should be read. But
you don't read the Wall Street Journal. You don't know that. All you have is your aggregator.
I know I do pop in and out. I also like go through all the articles. Just every once in a while, I'm like, all right, let's see what these bastards have to say. No, but the Republican demographic or the right-wing demographic in a lot of countries is in a real problem in 5 years because a huge chunk of their voting bloc will then be just dead.
And why do you think they're fucking with schools so hard? It's because they know the kids are growing up liberal, so they're just banning all liberal thought from their schools.
Which also,
that's why they're doing it.
What a better way to really encourage everyone to fall in love with the one punk girl who moves in from the other district. Like, what are you doing? Have you not seen my journals?
But it's also like, it worked. I was, we were both raised in sort of conservative areas and we're both doing our best to be open-minded liberal dudes. But I definitely still have like weird thoughts in my head that pop up sometimes, like, where the fuck did that come from? And I was like, oh, it's from being raised in a conservative culture.
Oh my God, of course.
And educated that way. So it's like, it lingers. It's the documentary that I think of right now that I think is like eerily applicable is, did you ever watch Jesus Camp?
Absolutely.
So that was like, there's the woman who runs it. What I love about that is it was terrifying. But the woman who ran the camp watched it and loved it. She's like, yeah, that's exactly what we're doing. And she says in it, she's like, theirs wasn't left versus right. It was Muslim versus Christian. That was their take on it. But they were like, Muslims are training their kids, so we gotta indoctrinate ours. And she just says it openly. She's basically like, this is a brainwashing camp so that our kids grow up to be the way we want them to be. And that's what they're doing in the schools right now. And they're hiding behind wokeness
Yeah, they can't define it. You're absolutely right. But what is
But-
also even?
It's a real thing. it's,
Oh no, you're absolutely right.
it's because they know
absolutely
demographically
insane.
they're fucked, and that's why they're
They are
attacking schools.
so fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, the next 2 years in the United States is going to be fascinating. It's so interesting talking to people because one of the things with the coasts is all the people that run away from those communities end up there working at comedy clubs. So you hear the stories of the shit, like the amount of people I know that have been in rooms with paintings of Jesus riding a dinosaur are so many more than the amount of people I know that have mortgages. Like the amount of people I know that believe in the occult more than mortgages, the amount of people that have been in rooms with paintings of Jesus riding a dinosaur more than mortgages. Like I know 2 people with a mortgage is what I'm trying to say.
And that's, ladies and gentlemen, that is why comedians should never be leaders. And just remember that.
I don't understand. Like comedians shouldn't be leaders. I also am going to say this: Jon Stewart is getting a lot of play on YouTube. I think Jon Stewart has a lot to answer for convincing people that people should get their news from comedians. Because
he ruined a generation of comedy. With his heart in the right place. His heart was in the right place. He was too good at it, and it fucked us.
Yeah, it was, and like I really don't want to do it, and I'm really happy I don't. But Jesus Christ, is it really just like the Joe Rogan podcast in many ways is a like mutant hell spawn of the Daily Show.
Absolutely.
Anyone can do it. No, they can't, man.
Yeah, I can't. I can never remember who said it, but it's this old quote that I think about all the time, and it was like, just because you have a hammer doesn't make you a carpenter. Just because you have thought doesn't make you a philosopher. And
all that was me.
And I think it was Tony Hinchcliffe who said it.
Definitely Tony Hinchcliffe. No, I think it was Chris Delgert. No, it was.
I think Big J Okerson.
I think it was DJ Lethal from Limp Bizkit.
I think you're right. It was DJ Lethal, also of House of Pain.
Which one do you think? Although, do you know how many records? I didn't realize how many records Limp Bizkit sold. Like one of those things where it's like you can make fun of Limp Bizkit, but they're like, how many? It's like sold 20 million albums in a month, and you're like, holy mother of God!
Yeah, they were a big. I mean, someone when we were playing Name That Tune the other night, Olympus Break. The guy put on Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit, and he said he was like, Limp Bizkit, listen, they get a lot of hate. And I get that, but honestly, they defined a generation and changed a sound. They're like Nirvana for this, and I immediately was like, no, they're not. That is Rage Against the Machine, and Limp Bizkit is, to use your example, Limp Bizkit is the Joe Rogan podcast to Rage Against the Machine's Jon Stewart.
Incorrect. Limp Bizkit is Poison. Limp Bizkit is the millennial Poison. What hair metal is to Poison, Limp Bizkit is to new metal in the late 90s. Like they're just
who's the Nirvana of hair metal? New York Dolls? No, because they were punk.
Kind of the Nirvana of heavy metal is Motley Crue, in that they're the band that basically created the genre and created the industry. In that, like, there's glam, and then there's heavy metal, and then the people that combine it both are Motley Crue, and they create hair metal. It's Motley Crue. I'm 100% right about that. Everyone come at me, bro.
I mean, that feels right. I don't know enough about the genre, but that felt right. That was well explained. Good job.
And what's weird is Guns N' Roses was supposed to be the Nirvana of the early 90s, but then Nirvana out-Nirvana'd them. How do you like that shit?
I don't think that one was as good, but
because rock and roll always was getting more and more complicated, and that getting more and more big and big and big in America, and never getting stripped down. And then grunge was the first time where it was like, actually, no, we're going to detune this a little bit, and it's just going to be.
Oh yeah, and like I can't remember who I was listening to, but they were talking about the drummer from Guns N' Roses and it being just really stripped down. And this drummer specifically changed their kit from 30 toms and 100 cymbals down to a kick, a snare, and a cymbal because of the drummer from Guns N' Roses.
Matt Sorum, did he really do that? Interesting. Because I know that Dave Grohl has now gone on to explain the drum sound for Nirvana was super unique because he was just doing disco drumming.
I love that clip. I love that clip where he's explaining it. Yeah.
And you hear it and you're like, yeah, it's hip hop beats. Like it's literally just like they're just so defined of like, oh yeah, that's why it was so catchy.
Yeah, just great breaks.
Shit, Dave Grohl.
Yeah.
God
Yeah.
damn it, do you know how to write a song? Well, you know who else knows how to write a song? David Hoare, who wrote the outro song for this. Troggies. We will see you next Sunday.
We love
Go to
you.
bed. Eat my butt.
Bye.
Fuck you, podcast listeners.
That's all. Penis into her vagina. And that's all. That's all. And that's called sexual intercourse. Some people call it having sex. So the man passes the sperm to the woman, and now his sperm is in her. Maybe you're wondering if a mistake could be made.
You still haven't ended the broadcast.
Oh god damn it.